was recently asked for survival style games that players can play on mobile, their phones, their tablets, and things like that. So I dove into the App Store and I figured out a list of 10 of these, some of them that you probably already know, some that you've probably never heard of, that give a good variety of strategy-related games that are focused on survival. So let's dive into my list and see if there's any that you think are good or if they're all just trash. First up is Last Pirate Survival Island, because who doesn't want to be a pirate running around on an island, killing stuff, trying to make themselves survive? Now, admittedly, there's a lot of zombie style games on the list here today, so I actually like this one because it's just themed differently. You're on the island, you got to kill a bunch of stuff that's trying to kill you, you have to farm and build. That's what survival games are all about. And this one is probably the most different out of everything on the list. And now I'm not a big pirate guy or anything like that, but I do like that it didn't just go the traditional zombie route. It's the apocalypse, everyone is gonna die, so we need to protect ourselves from the killer zombies. No, inside of this one, it's a little bit more like skeletal enemies, things that are more pirate themed. I like this one a lot. I think the graphics are actually cool too, and it leans really well into the first-person perspective that is become a norm in the space. This is a go-to. Next up is Frostborn, and this one's titled as an action RPG, but really it's a survival-style game. This is a title that came out a few years back, and I thought it was going to be massive. I thought this was going to take over the survival strategy ARPG realm on mobile. But it actually didn't, and it actually turned out to be more of a niche style game, but one that I still do believe is actually really good and has a lot of depth to it where you could play with a lot of other people as well. At the end of the day, we're looking at a co-op survival style game that is medieval themed, which I also do like. Now the graphics aren't AAA quality or anything like that, but you don't really need that specifically in this genre, unless if you like that kind of thing, and then I guess you do need it. Either way, this one's a solid game. Definitely not massive, but also definitely solid. Next up, we have Lost in Blue, and as you can tell right now, this one is very much themed around the show that I loved back in the day called Lost, where your plane crashes on an island in the middle of nowhere and everyone needs to survive. I could see how this IP really turned itself into being a really solid game for the survival genre. But let's look at some gameplay. You see, once you get yourself out of the plane and onto the island, there's things that you need to do to survive, earn experience and rewards and things like that. Definitely a bit more of a kingdom builder feel to this survival style game, but at the end of the day, it is definitely survival. You're going to be tasked with things to do, and you have a bunch of stuff that's already kind of set up, and then these weird monster-like things that were very much not in the show Lost start to come after you. So definitely playing lightly on the story of Lost itself. But at the end of the day, this is 100% a collect, build, craft, farm, hunt, and survive style game that you may like. All right, Days After Zombie Survival. We're looking at the trailer here, of course. And as you can see, this is definitely right on the whole line here of the zombie survival style game. Now, the trailer definitely looks quite a bit better than the actual gameplay, so we're looking at one of those situations right here, but this is one of the more popular survival style zombie games that's on the market right now. Next up, we have Last Fortress Underground, and this title right here is very much survival. You're living in a hole in the ground where you're basically building these different areas that are going to help you survive. The thing is, the zombies are up above trying to get you. They can't come underground for some reason. I guess they don't know how to dig. But the gameplay inside of this game is again very kingdom builder focused. When you go above the ground, if you don't want to just work on all of the survival elements underground, well then you're going to have to take part in other kingdom builder style war mechanics. If that's not something you're into, the whole open world warring with others and really you know, the brutalness that you can get from kingdom builders, then this is not going to be one for you. I actually played this one quite a bit and I really did enjoy the underground mechanic where you were building out and keeping everything going underground. I didn't as much love the kingdom builder mechanic that was happening above ground, so that's up to you. If you like both of those genres, this one kind of mixed together well. Now, did you guys know that Don't Starve has a mobile rendition as well? You could play this game on your mobile phone, and that's pretty awesome because it's one of the better survival games of all time. Don't Starve has that really nice aesthetic look that just, you know, you're playing the game because it looks that kind of way. And it's something where you're going to be doing a whole bunch of different tasks throughout the game, building stuff, crafting things, and then taking part in the survival element. As it gets dark, things get a little bit crazy. This is probably one of the best games overall on the list. It's available on mobile and it's available on Steam as well if you're someone that wants to play something like this on a PC instead of on your mobile device. But we're here talking about mobile games, and this one's there to play. Now next we have Undawn. This was another one of those titles made from the developers of PUBG Mobile, and it actually kind of looks like PUBG Mobile as well, that I thought was going to take over. I thought this game was going to be so big. We saw content creators going like crazy, making videos, spinning up YouTube channels specifically for this game, but it never really did. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say out of all the mobile games here, minus maybe Don't Starve and one more later, this is the best open world survival game. Now, listen to me here. Let's dive into it a little bit. First of all, you basically start with a character. You have to build up your fortress. You have to do things that you would do on a daily basis, such as farm, use the bathroom, bathe, do all of those things. So you're actually really doing survival elements. You're also then going to need to farm. You're going to need to hunt. And you're going to have zombies that are going to try and kill you at the same time, with a whole bunch of other tasks you can go on, some big missions that give you some nice rewards. But you can see here, it has like Sims-like building mechanics, which I thought was really cool. I think it also looks really good. And it has all of those, you know, like casual, let's take care of ourselves throughout the day elements. But it also gets pretty brutal when you get to the combat. And not only the combat, you're also gonna need to like really worry about your person. You're gonna see in a second, just this right here, you could tell that you have to really take care of all parts of you to survive both mentally and physically. And the combat's really cool. You have to take down things to go hunting, but then you also need to take down those zombies and really nasty beasts for the actual survival element of the game. This is a game that can take up a lot of your time. This is a game that you have a lot of time invested to learn, to craft, and actually to make it so that you could survive long term. This is a really, really fun one. I wish that it was more popular than it actually ended up being, but it still is, even though it's not as popular as I thought it was going to be, a very good game. Oh yeah, and it's available on Steam as well, so it's cross-platform, I believe, which is actually pretty cool. Yeah, and of course, next up is Minecraft. You knew this was going to be on the list. This is a premium game on mobile. Obviously, you could play it on every single platform in the world, one of the most popular games of all time, but you have the Pocket Edition that you could play on mobile as well, which is actually quite fun. I'm not a big Minecraft guy. To be honest with you, I'm not a big survival game guy, but I know that some of you were. But if you're looking for the best, possibly, survival game of all time, it would have to be a Minecraft style game, which also gives you a lot of opportunity to be creative and to do different things that you just can't do in other games. This one is a really good mobile rendition that if you're looking for something you can play on your phone or tablet and you're not looking to really focus it on PC, really built out experience here that's quite good. Now, Raft Survival is really cool too. You're basically building out your world on top of this raft floating in the ocean. You have to deal with sharks, which I think is actually pretty cool. And this one's more on the pirate theme than on the zombie theme, although you're not a pirate. You're just a survivor that's trying to live afloat. Make sure you have some shade though. You don't want to get those nasty sunburns. At the end of the day, this one is really fun, and I like how you're building from basically scavenging from the ocean. And then of course there's Ark, the ultimate mobile version of the game. Ark is a game where you land on an island. You wake up on an island and you have to craft, you have to build, you have to hunt. And now there's dinosaurs and things like that that can get pretty darn insane. It's a lot less about the dinosaurs in the world versus the other people that you're going to encounter. Inside of Ark, you're going to want to definitely team up with other players, build up some really nice castle-like fortresses, and defend that because people are going to want the things that you have. This is another one of the greatest survival-style games ever on other platforms, and it does really well on mobile as well. It's definitely a solid one. I'm thinking of this list right now, and like, there's so many good games that I gave you. Definitely some that are questionable, but there's a lot of good ones too. And Ark has a lot of different versions coming this year. You can see Extinction is coming, and also Genesis is coming, both in 2025. Oh, Genesis 2? Look at this. Insanity. So now, if you want to say thanks, Echo, thanks for all the tips, thanks for the games, the way you can do that is by subscribing to the channel, because I give you lists like this all the time. And in addition to that, I have a blog called echogaming.io where I share with you all of my content, all of my suggestions, and all of my tips. Hope you guys have a great day.